Hey everyone, Josh here with Josh Nom Golf, and today we're going to be talking all about distance. And we're going to talk about what the longest hitters do to get distance and what short hitters don't do. And there's one characteristic amongst everything that basically is the one trait that all long hitters have and short hitters don't. And that is the way that their feet use the ground, and more specifically, how much pressure people put into the grounds when they swing. Now, in most of my lessons, players come up and they say, I want to hit the ball farther, and what do I need to do? And when I ask them what they think, they say, well, I need to swing my arms faster, I need to turn faster, I need to do all that. And through a lot of testing, believe it or not, that's really not the answer. Turning faster, swinging the arms faster really doesn't increase speed by much at all. Most people swing their arms roughly around 19 miles an hour, and picking up a mile an hour really may only hit the ball 5-10 yards farther. But we're talking about what really long hitters do and what the rest of us don't. 30, 40, 50, 60 yards difference in length. And we have a great example here I'm going to show you. So on the left is a college player that I've worked with for a while now, and he truly is one of the longest hitters I've ever seen. Routine driver, just stock driving range swing, about 120 miles an hour, carries the ball well over 300 pretty easily. And on the right is a lesson I just had with a player that was really struggling with distance. So we put him up on the body track here, and you see this chart on your screen. And this DVF you see up here stands for dynamic vertical force. And simply what this means is how much pressure is the player pushing down into the ground. So if you kind of think of this blue mat as a scale, this one you see here on the left for both of these would mean basically your body weight, your static body weight, whatever that is. This 2 you see here would be double it. And obviously the 0 would be no weight on it. And the more we push down into the ground and the more we use that ground to explode up, the more club head speed we have. And you're going to see a great example of it here. So as we look at the one on the left first, with the college player with huge amounts of swing speed, you're going to notice on the graph this orange line is on the 1. That's just a static body weight. Whatever he weighs, that's what it is. This yellow line you kind of see here is his trail foot, his right foot, and the blue line is his lead foot. The total of that equals the orange on top. So as this player starts back, you're going to see pretty quickly through the backswing here, there's almost 0 weight being put on his lead foot, this blue one, or his left foot. Basically, if there's a scale under his left foot, it wouldn't have much weight on it at all. All his pressure is moving back to his trail foot. And an interesting dynamic that most players have is that you actually get lighter in the backswing. You kind of lift up a little. You get lighter going back. So let's just make up a round number and say this student weighs 150 pounds. As he goes to the top, he's really only weighing probably 115, 120. And here's where the distance really comes in. So as he starts his transition, you're going to see a massive amount of force here. You can see he's over doubled his body weight at this point right here at the left arm parallel down. Most of this pressure is in blue on his lead foot, but this is over 2 times the amount. So if he weighs 150 pounds, he's putting over 300 pounds of pressure down into the ground. This body track only measures 2 times, and he every time is right at the top, so I'm sure it's even more than that. So he's really, really getting heavy, kind of squatting and really pushing down into the ground as he comes down. And then you can see as he gets by impact here, I know his feet get a little blurry, but you can almost see how they completely leave the ground. And at this point, he's basically weightless because his feet have left the ground. He is using the ground to basically jump up through the ball. And that ball, like I said, carries easily 300 yards on average. Now when we look at the player on the right, came to me not too long ago saying he had some distance issues, and as we take this back, we're going to notice a couple things. So we get to about left arm parallel, and I'll take the other player back to the same spot. One of the biggest things we noticed right away is that there wasn't as big a gap between his trail foot and his lead foot, and in fact they were reversed at this point. You can see that the lead foot actually still has more pressure on it than the trail foot, or the one on the left, the trail foot or his right leg has a lot more pressure on it. So he's really, like, I don't want to say swaying, but he's kind of squatting into that trail foot, where this player on the right has too much pressure on his lead foot, never really gets onto his trail foot enough. Then as he comes down, you can see that there really is no weighting going on. He's not getting heavier. His feet are very static in terms of pressure, whereas when we moved the other player to that same spot, we can see obviously a huge difference in dynamics. And then coming through, again, it stays very much just no pressure up and down. There is no exploding up where you can see, I know that graph kind of gets in the way, but you can see how this player is leaving his feet through it. You don't see that at all with this player. And this player on the right probably swings it at 85 miles an hour, 90, maybe hits it 210, 215 carry, where the player on the left is hitting it well over 300. So the way we use our feet and the way that we really use the ground to push down and explode up through impact is the single biggest contributor by far to club head speed and distance, by far. And it's not even close, really. That's what we really need to be working on if we're trying to increase distance. So if I bring up somebody like a Gary Woodlands, and it's not something you can necessarily see on video, but as Gary is going back here, you can kind of tell on video that he's really starting to load up this trail foot of his. Most of his pressure is working down into this foot pretty substantially, and his left foot is pretty unweighted. In fact, you can even see Gary's left heel moving there. There's not much pressure on it, so that foot moves pretty freely. Now, as he gets down to here, there is a massive amount of force getting pushed down into that left foot, just a tremendous amount. And in Gary's case, without ever measuring him, I can guarantee you it's double or more his body weight, like we saw with that college player. And then coming through, you can see that up move, that kind of vertical jump up where the feet are basically leaving the ground. And you can see Gary's left foot is basically leaving the ground up and through that, and everything's moving. So he is really, really, really using the ground hard to squat down and push up and out of. And that's one of the reasons he's the longest hitters on tour. So if you're somebody that struggles with distance, you've got to work on how you interact with the ground in a vertical force, how you kind of squat down and get heavier in transition in the downswing, and then using that ground to really push off and explode up through impact. As you get better at that, you're going to see a tremendous increase in distance. So thank you guys for coming and watching this video. Best of luck with everything, and we'll have another video out again soon.